Attention Institute personnel. Celebrations are in order because today is the 3-year anniversary of the launch of the Templin Institute. I know 2020 has been a rough one for a lot of people, and it's been a rough one for us as well. Back in January, we had to work through an unexpected and damaging transition that unfortunately put all our content on hold for nearly half the year. These 3 months we've been back, though, I am very proud to say have been the best in the channel's history, both here on YouTube as well as on Twitch, Patreon, our store, basically everywhere. Behind the scenes, the cylinders are firing a lot easier as well. Since our return, we've consistently been ahead, having episodes ready a week, 2 weeks, sometimes even a month in advance. This has never happened before, and it's given me a lot more time in particular to expand the Templin Institute, or, sleep each night. I would be remiss to say all that without acknowledging the voice of the Institute, Stephen, whose professionalism and work ethic has been absolutely critical to making all that possible. So this is all to say that despite a brutal few months, 2020 is shaping up to hopefully end a lot better than it started. It also means that for the first time in a long time, I'm not here to say that we need to take another hiatus or cut down the number of episodes we're producing. Instead, I get to announce a bunch of new things that I think you'll all be very excited about. So let's start with Stellaris Invicta. If you don't follow us on social media, this might be news to you, but the Antares Confederacy has won the vote and will be the focus of Season 2. There's still a lot to do before we can launch the series, finish reviewing all the Alien Empire submissions, testing out a few mods, and maybe getting some extra practice in Stellaris so I don't get everyone killed immediately. I know everyone is eager to get moving, but the worst thing we could do is rush this process, so you'll just have to sit tight for a little while longer. Not to worry though, when we're ready to roll, we'll make sure you know about it. However, I do have some very exciting news to share related to the Antares Confederacy. We previously announced that we'd be doubling the number of Stellaris Invicta episodes released each month. In addition to the usual documentary-style account of our Empire's progress, you can expect a second episode covering a specific aspect of the universe, maybe an important planet, faction, fleet, or who knows. And that plan hasn't changed. There'll be 2 episodes of Stellaris Invicta each month on our channel. But that's not to say there won't be additional episodes covering the rise of the Antares Confederacy elsewhere on YouTube. Today, I am beyond excited to announce a collaboration that I don't think has ever been attempted before in the history of all mankind. Probably the world's first Stellaris City Skylines crossover. I've partnered with 2 of the community's most inspiring City Skylines creators, City Walk, City Wall, and Skibbeth, to design Sagalo, the capital of the Antares Confederacy. In a series we've decided to call Skylines Invicta, you'll be able to follow along as Sagalo is built from the ground up. What you're seeing right now is a remote peninsula somewhere on a planet in the Antares system. Over the course of that series, this region will be transformed with spaceports, skyscrapers, the parliament of the Antares Confederacy, and all the other infrastructure befitting a capital of an interstellar empire. Along the way, you'll hear personal stories of the people who made the city what it is. The biologist whose tireless efforts saved the first generation of settlers from starvation, the architects who redesigned the capital district, and everyday citizens who call the city their home. I can't wait to see what these guys come up with. And while a Stellaris City Skylines crossover might seem a little strange at first, I think there is enormous potential for world building in both these games, and they'll be able to influence each other in interesting and unexpected ways. Alien empires we meet in Stellaris might have their embassies constructed in city skylines. Famous citizens of Sagalo might have ships named for them in the Confederate Navy. And if the city, along with the rest of the planet, is destroyed by vengeful aliens, well, shit, that would kind of ruin everything. But, hopefully that won't happen. We'll have more news on when Skylines Invicta will premiere, so stay tuned. And if you haven't already, subscribe to City Walk, City Wall, and Skibbeth to make sure you don't miss this new series, as it will be released on both their channels. In fact, they've already released the first teaser. And while you're there, be sure to check out City Walk's Mars series, where he constructs an unbelievable Martian domed city, or Skibbeth's Little France series, which brings a French metropolis to life with incredible detail. These guys are playing that game on a whole other level. But that's not all we have to say about the Antares Confederacy. Back in Season 1, the support for the Greater Terran Union was beyond anything we expected, and it took us a while to meet the demand for GTU flags, shirts, patches, what have you. With Antares, we've gotten a bit of a head start. Over the last few weeks, with the help of our patrons, we've settled on a final design for the national flag of the Antares Confederacy, and I have designed the flags of its 11 constituent nations. Together with some t-shirts, hats, and other merchandise, these are all available right now over on the Templin Commissary. Each product includes some additional background information, so even if you just want to learn a little bit more about the Confederate Republics, this is where you'll want to go. And as we get further along into the series, you can expect more stuff to show up in the store. It not only looks cool, but helps us keep the lights on as well. But that's not all. Earlier in the month, I had the pleasure of working with artist Joan Piquet-Lorenz, God, I hope I didn't butcher that too badly, to design a poster commemorating the launch of Season 2. Joan was one of the artists kind enough to donate some of his previous artwork for use in Stellaris Invicta, and it was terrific to be able to collaborate with him on a custom piece. Some of his previous clients include Marvel, Bungie, and Netflix, so what he's doing working with us, I have no idea, but Forward Antares is likewise available for purchase on the Templin Commissary. And if you'd like to see how this painting was done, Joan was kind enough to record a time-lapse video showing his process, which is live right now over on the Templin archives. Okay, so if you're familiar with this channel at all, you know I love a good flag. And I like to think I'm at least somewhat decent at designing them. One area, however, of national insignia, in which I lack any experience in whatsoever, is heraldry. So while I can't design a cool-looking coat of arms worth a damn, I'm happy to announce that I found someone who can. Bjorn Frieden, a self-appointed heraldic arms dealer, has been kind enough to lend his talents to the Antares Confederacy and the Templin Institute. Over the next few weeks and months, we'll be working together to create heraldic emblems for the Antares Confederacy, the city of Sigalo, and a few other organizations. But for now, here's a very brief look at how things are shaping up. But of course, Stellaris Invicta Season 2 isn't the only thing going on over here at the Templin Institute, and I'm finally able to announce a number of new, fiercely requested items. The first is the official Templin Institute subreddit. This is something we've heard you wanted since the channel first launched, but there was always a fear of stretching our community too thin. Now, however, after the tremendous growth of the Institute, the time finally seems right. And God help me, while I am probably going to regret this immediately, we're going to be allowing Templin Institute-related memes on the subreddit. You people just won't shut up about this, so congratulations, you've finally broken me. If you've been dying to make a meme making fun of the way I pronounce flag, now is your time. Head over to r/Templin Institute. But seriously guys, flag. I don't think it sounds weird. I think you guys are just mean. But enough about that, on to our Patreon. I've never been really happy with the audio rewards offered at the $5 level, and a lot of time has been spent on trying to figure out how to make them better. We've previously mentioned a long time ago the idea of doing a podcast, but what format that podcast should take has always been up in the air. Now though, I think I've finally settled on an idea that fits the theme of the Templin Institute. It's not quite ready to go yet and lacks even a name, but the idea is the Untitled Templin Institute podcast will be a kind of faction review. Each month we'll take a look at a nation or organization we've previously covered, and I'll provide my own personal thoughts on how believable, consistent, or just how cool it is. Maybe even giving them a rating out of 10 or something. These will be timed exclusives to our $5 and above patrons before they're released for everybody on the Templin archives. Finally, and lastly, we arrive at the specter that's been haunting the Templin Institute since we launched 3 years ago, the issue of episode requests. Now, this is something I've never been satisfied with. The original idea was that we didn't want our social media accounts and Discord server to be overrun with requests for episodes over and over. so we've asked that any requests for episodes be left in the YouTube comments. While this has centralized the requests in one place, and I've done my best to read every one, I know it can be frustrating to put an idea out there and not get any sort of confirmation on whether we've seen it. Well, we finally have a better solution. Live right now is ideas.templin.institute. Head there and you'll be able to submit an idea for an episode and upvote ideas that have already been submitted. While we can't promise we'll make episodes on the most popular ideas, there is a ton of considerations after all that go into which topics we cover and when. It will allow us to get a much better idea of what everyone wants to see. So that brings us to the end of our announcements. Thank you all so much to everyone who has supported the Templin Institute here on YouTube, Twitch, and everywhere else. It's been such a nice change to be able to announce some new projects, and 3 years is a long time, but I like to think that we're just getting started. Thanks again, and we'll see you all next time. The Templin Institute investigates the nations, factions, and organizations of alternate worlds. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to join the Templin Institute, consider pledging to our Patreon page. Along with increased security access, you'll be able to vote in polls to determine future topics, get custom wallpaper every week, and receive some other exclusive rewards.